I saw what you did. Do not attempt to deny it. You are dismissed from my service.
Maya's hands trembled as she stared at the photograph on the wall. The small apartment in Brooklyn was quiet. Too quiet. A fan hummed weakly in the corner, pushing warm summer air around. There, on the cream-colored wall of her housekeeper's home, was the smiling face of her husband, Daniel. Not on a phone. Not in a magazine. But framed. Protected behind glass. Like something precious. Like something loved. "That is my husband," Maya whispered. "Why? Why is my husband's picture in your house?" Her housekeeper, Lisa, froze near the doorway, holding a plastic bowl. The 24-year-old woman who always moved quickly and spoke softly now looked terrified. "Ma'am, I can explain," Lisa stammered. Maya turned slowly to face her. "Explain what, Lisa? Why is my husband hanging on your wall like a family member?" Lisa opened her mouth to speak. But before she could answer, we need to go back to where it all began. If you're enjoying this story, please like, comment, and subscribe for more compelling stories. What do you think Maya should do next? That morning had started like every other day in Maya's world. Sunlight poured through the large windows of the Brooklyn Heights townhouse. The marble floors gleamed. The smell of fresh coffee filled the air. Maya sat at the dining table, her laptop open in front of her, reviewing the latest reports from her tech startup. She was a self-made CEO worth millions, but today she wore simple clothes, a white blouse, black pants, and a designer watch. Across from her sat Daniel, her husband of 10 years. He was 38, just like her, handsome and calm, wearing a navy shirt and scrolling through his phone. "You're already working this early," he teased. "Will you ever rest?" Maya smirked. "If I rest, who will run the company?" He laughed, and the sound filled the room warmly. They looked perfect together, the power couple living the dream life. "Good morning, ma'am," a soft voice said from behind. It was Lisa. She walked in quietly with a tray of fresh orange juice. Her simple clothes were neat, her hair pulled back in a ponytail. She kept her eyes down, as always. "Good morning, Lisa," Maya said without looking up. "Good morning, ma'am." "Good morning, sir." Daniel nodded. "Morning." As Lisa poured juice into Maya's glass, her hand shook slightly. A drop spilled onto the table. "Sorry, ma'am," Lisa whispered quickly, wiping it away. Maya barely noticed. She had hired Lisa 6 months ago through an agency. The girl had looked scared that first day, her eyes full of worry. But she worked hard and was always respectful. "Are you okay?" Maya asked, glancing up. "Yes, ma'am. I'm fine," Lisa said quickly. But her eyes flicked toward Daniel for just a moment. It was so fast most people would have missed it. But Maya noticed. Still, she said nothing. Daniel finished his breakfast and stood up. "I have to leave early today. Board meeting at 9. "I thought your meeting was at 10, Maya replied. He paused for half a second, then smiled. "They moved it earlier." Maya nodded slowly. "All right. Drive safe." He left, his cologne lingering in the air. Lisa cleared the plates in silence. For some reason, the house felt heavier that morning. Around noon, Maya's driver pulled the black SUV onto a busy street in Brooklyn's Sunset Park neighborhood. Small shops lined the road. Children played outside. Street vendors called out to customers. Maya sat in the back seat, looking out the window. She had a simple plan. She was going to surprise Lisa. Earlier that week, Lisa had asked for 2 days off to handle something at home. Her voice had trembled when she asked. Maya had agreed and even given her extra money for transportation. But when Lisa came back, she had red eyes and a forced smile. "Everything okay?" Maya had asked. "Yes, ma'am." "Thank you, ma'am." Lies always left a mark on a person's face. And Maya felt it. So today, when she had a free afternoon, she told her driver, "Take me to Lisa's address. I want to see how she's living. I also have some things for her. On the seat beside her sat a bag of groceries and an envelope with some cash. Maya liked to help the people who worked for her, but she also liked to see things with her own eyes. The car stopped in front of a small building with peeling paint. "This is it, ma'am," the driver said. Maya stepped out, adjusting her sunglasses. Children played nearby, shouting and laughing. She climbed the stairs and knocked on the door marked with the number 7. After a few seconds, the door opened. Lisa stood there wearing a plain dress, no makeup. Her eyes went wide. "Ma'am," she breathed. You're here." "Yes," Maya said calmly. "I was in the area. I thought I'd visit. Can I come in?" Lisa hesitated for a moment too long. Then she stepped aside. "Yes, ma'am. Please." The apartment was small but neat. There was a brown sofa, a small TV, and a table with a few books. Maya looked around, her heart softening. "You keep it clean," Maya said kindly. "I brought some groceries for you." Tears filled Lisa's eyes. "Thank you, ma'am. God bless you." As Lisa moved to clear space, Maya's eyes scanned the walls. Then she saw it. Her feet slowed. Her breath caught. On the wall next to a calendar was a framed photograph. She stepped closer, her heart racing. It was Daniel. Younger, wearing a casual shirt, smiling in a way she knew well. Maya's hand flew to her mouth. "Oh my God," she whispered. "That's Daniel." Behind Maya, a plastic bowl clattered in Lisa's hands. "Ma'am, please," Lisa said in a shaky voice. "I can explain. It's not what you think." Maya turned slowly, her eyes dark and searching. "Who took this picture? How do you have my husband's photo hanging on your wall, Lisa?" Lisa's eyes filled with tears. Her lips trembled as she opened her mouth. "Ma'am, Daniel isn't just your husband," she whispered. Maya's stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" Lisa's next words came out in a broken whisper. He's the reason my mother died." The bowl slipped from Lisa's hands and crashed to the floor, shattering into pieces. For a moment, the whole room froze. The children outside kept playing. The fan kept spinning. But inside that small apartment, time seemed to stop. Maya stared at her housekeeper, trying to understand the words that had just been spoken. Daniel, her husband, the man who kissed her forehead that morning, now being tied to the death of a woman he'd never mentioned. "Lisa," Maya whispered, her voice almost breaking. "What are you saying? What do you mean your mother died because of Daniel?" Lisa squeezed her eyes shut. Tears streamed down her cheeks. "I didn't want you to find out this way," she whispered. "Not like this. Please sit down, ma'am." "I don't want to sit," Maya said sharply, but her legs felt weak. Lisa pointed to the sofa. "Please, ma'am. If you fall, I don't know what to do." Maya's anger softened slightly. She lowered herself onto the sofa, but her eyes stayed fixed on Lisa. Lisa sat gently on a wooden chair, taking a deep breath. "Daniel is the reason my mother died," she said again. "But not because he killed her. It's not like that." Maya leaned forward, her heart racing. "Then what happened?" Lisa wiped her eyes and began. "Years ago, when I was just 8 years old, my mother worked as a cleaner at a corporate office in Manhattan," Lisa said. "We were very poor. My father left when I was little, so it was just me and my mom." She looked down at her hands. One day, she came home crying. I'd never seen her cry that way. She told me she'd lost her job. "Why?" Maya asked softly. Lisa swallowed hard. She was accused of stealing an expensive watch from one of the executives. Maya's heartbeat skipped. A watch. A false accusation. An executive. "She kept saying she didn't steal it," Lisa continued. "She begged them to check the cameras. She begged them to call the man so she could explain." Tears filled Lisa's eyes again. But the man refused to listen. He said he didn't care. He said he didn't have time for it. He told the company to fire her immediately. Maya felt something cold crawl up her spine. A man who didn't listen. A man who didn't care. A man who had power. Who was this man? She asked. Lisa met her eyes. It was Daniel, ma'am. Maya's breath caught. No, she whispered. Daniel would never. Lisa shook her head quickly. Ma'am, please. I'm not saying he's a bad man. People change. Maybe he wasn't the same person then. But what happened destroyed us. She took a deep breath and continued. My mom lost her job that day. She begged and cried, but nothing helped. We had no savings, no family, nothing. Her voice broke. We couldn't pay rent. We couldn't buy food. She got sick, very sick. Pneumonia. And there was no money for the hospital, no money for medicine. Maya closed her eyes, fighting her own tears. Lisa, she whispered. Lisa sniffed. She died in our one-room apartment, right there, holding my hand. She pointed to the small space where Maya now sat. It happened in a place just like this. For a moment, Maya couldn't speak. Her throat tightened. Her mind refused to accept the pieces falling together. But why do you have his picture? Maya asked, forcing the words out. Lisa's face softened in a sad, painful way. Because the day my mother died, she told me something, Lisa said. Something I never forgot. What? She said, find the man who took everything from us. Don't hurt him. But let him see what he caused. One day, the truth must meet itself. Her voice wavered. And I promised her. That was the last promise I ever made. Maya blinked. So you kept his picture for revenge? Lisa shook her head fast. No, ma'am. Not revenge. I only wanted to face him someday. To tell him what he did. To let him know his mistake destroyed a life. Maya stared at the picture again. Daniel looked so young, so unaware. But why did you choose to work in my house? Maya asked suddenly. Why come into my home? Lisa lowered her eyes. I didn't choose, she whispered. I didn't even know it was your house. The agency just sent me. When I arrived and saw Daniel that first day, I almost fainted. Maya remembered that day clearly now. Lisa had looked terrified, jumping at every sound. Not because she was new, but because she recognized Daniel. And you kept quiet, Maya said slowly. Yes, ma'am. Because he didn't remember me. And I didn't want to destroy your marriage. I didn't want trouble. I just wanted to work and survive. And the picture? Lisa looked ashamed. I hid it behind other things so no one would see. But sometimes I looked at it when I felt lost. It reminded me of where I came from. Of my promise. A long silence filled the room. The air grew heavier. But Lisa, Maya whispered, her voice trembling. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell Daniel? Lisa hesitated. Because, she said quietly, what I discovered later made everything worse. Maya's eyes widened. What did you discover? Lisa took a shaky breath. Daniel may not have just caused my mother's death, she said. He might also be the reason I grew up without a father. Maya's heart stopped. What are you talking about? Lisa looked up at her slowly. My mother told me something before she died, she whispered. She said the man who destroyed our life wasn't just her boss. She held her breath. He was also the man she once loved. Maya felt her whole body go cold. Daniel loved your mother? Lisa nodded slowly. And ma'am, she added softly, there's something even worse. Maya's voice cracked. What? Lisa's lips shook as she spoke the words. My mother said he might be my father. The room spun. For a full minute, Maya didn't move. Her hand stayed frozen on her knees. Her breath came in sharp, uneven gasps. Lisa's soft whisper echoed in the tiny apartment. He might be my father. The words hit Maya so hard she felt like the walls were closing in. She lifted her eyes slowly, staring at the young woman sitting across from her. Lisa, 24 years old, quiet, polite, always respectful. A girl she had trusted in her home. A girl who might be Daniel's daughter. Her mind refused to accept it. That's not possible, Maya whispered, shaking her head. Daniel would have told me. He couldn't have hidden a child. Lisa's eyes filled with silent tears. I didn't believe it at first either, ma'am, she said gently. For many years, I told myself my mother only said it because she was sick. Maybe she imagined it. She took a deep breath. But after I came to your house, after I saw him, all the things she said started to make sense. Maya's voice trembled. What things? Lisa wiped her cheeks and looked down. My mother said she once worked in a small office where Daniel was doing an internship. Back then, he was young and quiet. He noticed her. They became friends. Close friends. Lisa looked up again, eyes wet. She said he was kind. She said he used to buy her lunch when she had no money. He walked her home sometimes. They talked every day. And one day, they crossed a line. Maya's chest tightened. Crossed a line. A simple phrase, but one that carried the weight of a broken world. Lisa, listen, Maya said, her voice shaking. Daniel has never told me anything like this. Not even once. My husband wouldn't hide a child. Lisa swallowed hard. I'm not saying he knew, ma'am. My mother said she tried to tell him she was pregnant. She called him. She wrote letters. She waited outside the company for days, but he didn't show up. Maybe he traveled, Maya said quickly, clinging to hope. Lisa shook her head. My mother said she later heard he left the country that same week. He didn't tell her anything. He just disappeared. A slow chill slid down Maya's spine. She knew Daniel had studied abroad in his youth. He'd mentioned it many times. But he always made it sound simple, like nothing important had happened before he left. So your mother believed he abandoned her, Maya said quietly. Lisa nodded. But ma'am, my mother never hated him. She wasn't angry. She said, maybe he was young. Maybe he didn't know. Maybe he got scared. She never blamed him for leaving. Lisa paused. It was only after the watch incident, after he made her lose her job, that her heartbreak turned into pain she couldn't forgive. Maya closed her eyes, rubbing her forehead. Her whole world was cracking open. Lisa, you're saying things that don't make sense, she said weakly. Daniel would never treat a woman like that. He respects people. Lisa nodded slowly. He is gentle now. But ma'am, do you know who someone was 20 years ago? The question landed hard. Because the truth was simple. People change. People hide their past. People bury things so deep they start believing the lie. Still, Maya shook her head. I can't believe this until I hear it from him. Until he tells me himself. Lisa's voice softened. That's why I never said anything, ma'am. Because I wanted him to speak first. I hoped one day he would look at me and remember. She touched the frame of the picture on the wall. But he didn't. That's why I kept this picture. My mother gave it to me. She said it would help me find the truth one day. Maya felt something inside her collapse. Not because of anger or betrayal, but because she didn't know what to believe anymore. Daniel, her husband. The man who held her when she cried. The man who supported her through every challenge. The man who told her she was his whole world. Had he built their marriage on a secret so big it could destroy everything? I need air, Maya whispered. She stood up quickly, but her legs wobbled. Lisa rushed forward to help, but Maya pulled away gently. I'm fine, she said, though she wasn't. She stepped outside into the summer heat. Children ran past her, laughing. A woman hung clothes on a line. Life was normal here, Messy, loud, real. Unlike the polished townhouse where she lived. Lisa stood behind her, scared. "Ma'am, please don't hate me," she whispered. "I swear I didn't come to destroy your home. I didn't plan to ever say any of this. I only wanted to survive." Maya turned slowly, her eyes soft but hurt. "I don't hate you, Lisa," she said honestly. "But I'm confused. And I'm afraid of what this means." Lisa nodded, wiping her cheeks. "Ma'am, there's more." Maya's stomach twisted. "More." Lisa hesitated, then stepped back inside. When she returned, she was holding a small old envelope, brown, faded, torn at the edges. She handed it to Maya with trembling fingers. "This was the letter my mother wrote to Daniel the week she found out she was pregnant. She tried to give it to him but never got the chance." Maya stared at the envelope like it was dangerous. Slowly, she opened it. Inside was a neatly folded piece of paper with shaky handwriting. She unfolded it, and the first line made her knees almost give out. "Daniel, I'm carrying your child." Her breath hitched. She kept reading, her eyes widening, her heart pounding. Near the end, buried in the middle of the letter, was a name. A name she'd never heard before. "If anything happens to me, please remember our daughter, Elizabeth." Elizabeth. Maya looked up slowly. "Elizabeth," she whispered. "Is that your full name?" Lisa nodded. "My mother named me after him because she loved him, even when he never came back. But everyone calls me Lisa." Maya took one step back. Everything felt wrong. Everything felt unreal. And then, before she could speak, her phone rang loudly in her bag. She jumped. She pulled it out, and her heart froze when she saw the name on the screen. Daniel. Calling her at the worst possible moment. Maya stared at the screen, breathing hard. Lisa's eyes widened too. "It's him," Maya whispered. The phone rang again. She swallowed hard and pressed answer. "Hello," she said, trying to steady her voice. Daniel sounded calm. Too calm. "Maya, where did you go? I came home early and they said you left without telling anyone. Is everything okay?" Maya's lips parted, but no words came out. Daniel continued. "I need to talk to you. There's something important I've been hiding from you." Maya felt her blood run cold. "What? What do you mean?" Daniel hesitated, then said it. "Maya, we need to talk about my past. About a woman I once knew. There are things you don't know." Maya's eyes filled with shock. Lisa clasped her hands over her mouth. Daniel breathed deeply through the phone. "Maya, are you alone?" She looked at Lisa. She looked at the picture on the wall. Maya's hand trembled so hard she nearly dropped the phone. "I can hear you, Daniel," she whispered. "Go on." There was a long pause. Then Daniel's voice came through, heavy with guilt. "Maya, before I left the country years ago, something happened. Something I never told anyone. Not even you." Maya's heart hammered in her chest. "There was a girl. A young woman who worked in the office where I interned. Her name was Amanda." Lisa gasped softly. Her mother. Daniel was saying her mother's name. Maya closed her eyes. "Daniel, what happened between you and Amanda?" Silence. Then his voice softened with regret. "We were close. Too close. I was young, foolish, and careless. I liked her a lot, and she liked me too." Maya's fingers curled into a fist. "So you had a relationship with her?" "Yes," he whispered. "But it wasn't serious. At least, I didn't think it was. I'd already gotten my visa to leave. Everything was moving fast. I didn't know she loved me that much." Maya's throat tightened. "Did you get her pregnant?" "I don't know," he said quietly. "She told me she needed to talk to me urgently before I left, but I was scared. I avoided her. I left without hearing her out. Avoided her. Left her." ran away from consequences. Maya felt like her chest was being crushed. And the watch incident? She asked sharply. Daniel inhaled sharply. That was a misunderstanding. I lost my watch somewhere and assumed someone took it. I didn't know her name was brought into it until later. I didn't know she lost her job. I swear I didn't know. Tears stung Maya's eyes, not from anger, but because she could hear the genuine regret in his voice. For years, Maya, Daniel continued, his voice shaking, I wondered if I had a child somewhere. But I was too afraid to face the truth. Too afraid to ruin our marriage. So I buried it. I buried everything. Maya pressed the phone closer to her ear. Somewhere inside, a truth was rising. Daniel might not be a monster. He might just be human. A human who made a terrible mistake. And why are you telling me this today? She asked quietly. He hesitated. Because yesterday, someone from my past contacted me. Maya's eyes snapped open. Who? A woman, he said. She said she knew Amanda. She said she has something I need to see. Something important. She wants to meet me. Maya's blood ran cold. A woman? Someone who knew Lisa's mother. Lisa stepped closer, listening. What did she say she has? Maya asked. The truth, Daniel whispered. She said the truth is finally ready to come out. Maya felt a chill run through her body. What truth, Daniel? His voice broke. Maya, I think Amanda might have given birth before she died. Her stomach flipped. And you think the child is yours? I don't know, he said quietly. But it's possible. And if it's true, then that child would be 24 years old today. 24. Maya slowly turned her head toward Lisa. 24. Lisa stared back at her, tears sliding silently down her cheeks. Daniel continued speaking, unaware of the storm unfolding. Maya, I'm sorry. I should have told you long ago. I should have told the truth before we even married. But I didn't know how. I'm not proud of who I was, but I'm ready to face the truth now. Maya's hand tightened around the phone. Daniel, she whispered. I need to ask you something. Anything. If that child existed, she said slowly, would you want to know them? Daniel hesitated. Then he said something that shook her to the core. If that child is alive, I would want to make things right. I would want to be in their life. I would want to apologize. To be a father. Lisa covered her mouth as a sob escaped. Maya closed her eyes. Daniel, what time is this meeting with the woman? Evening, he said. Around 6. I want you to come with me. I can't do this alone. Maya nodded slowly, even though he couldn't see her. I'll come. Good, Daniel said, relieved. I love you, Maya. And I'm sorry. She ended the call without replying. Silence filled the apartment. Lisa stepped forward, her whole body trembling. Ma'am, what did he say? Maya looked at her. Really looked at her. The gentle eyes. The soft voice. The pain in her heart. The possibility that she might be Daniel's daughter. Maya felt her chest tighten in a new way. A painful, confusing mix of anger, sadness, fear, and something unexpected, empathy. She stepped closer to Lisa. But before she could speak, a loud knock hit the door violently. Bam! 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 Both women jumped. Lisa! A deep male voice shouted from outside. Open this door now. We need to talk. Lisa froze, her eyes filled with fear. Who is that? Maya whispered. Lisa's lips shook as she replied. That's my uncle. She paused. And ma'am, if he finds you here, everything will get worse. The violent pounding on the door grew louder. Bam! 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 Lisa shook from head to toe. Sweat gathered on her forehead. Her fingers twisted into the hem of her dress. Ma'am, she whispered, voice breaking. Please, you need to hide. Maya blinked. Hide. Why? Lisa rushed toward her, panic in her voice. My uncle isn't like other people. He's angry, unpredictable, and he hates wealthy people. If he sees you here, he'll think I brought you to expose him. Please, ma'am, please go inside. Another hard knock rattled the door. Lisa, open this door. Maya stood frozen for a second, but something inside her shifted. She was a CEO, yes. But right now she was a woman who had stepped into a story she never asked for. She gently placed her hand on Lisa's shoulder. I'm not leaving, Maya said firmly. You don't hide from fear. You face it. Lisa's eyes widened. Ma'am, he's dangerous. Maya shook her head. No. He's just loud. I've handled louder people. Lisa swallowed hard, terrified, but she unlocked the door. It swung open. A tall, broad-shouldered man with angry eyes and a rough beard stormed in. His shirt was half-buttoned and he smelled of alcohol. His gaze locked onto Maya. He froze, not because he recognized her, but because her presence screamed power. Who is this? He demanded, pointing at her. Lisa, you bringing rich women to this house now? You want trouble. Lisa stepped in front of Maya quickly. Uncle, please. Don't shout. She just came to check on me. Check on you, he barked. Since when do millionaires check on poor housekeepers in Brooklyn? He moved closer, raising his voice. You think I don't know what you're doing? You want to expose me? You want to talk about what happened years ago? Lisa flinched. Maya stepped forward, eyes firm. What exactly happened years ago? The man turned slowly, stunned that she dared to speak. You listen to me, he growled, stepping closer. Whatever you think this girl told you, she's lying. We don't need your rich woman pity. Leave this place now. Lisa grabbed his arm, pleading. Uncle, please. She knows everything. About Mom. About Daniel. About the letter. She found the picture. That was the wrong thing to say. Her uncle spun around, eyes wide with fury. You showed her the picture? I didn't. Lisa cried. She saw it on the wall. Please stop. He cut her off with a roar. Lisa, that picture was never meant to be seen. You want to destroy your life? You want to destroy his life. Maya stepped between them immediately. That's enough, she said calmly. Do not raise your voice at her. The man glared at her. And who are you to tell me anything? Maya Chen, she replied simply. Daniel's wife. His eyes twitched. He recognized the name. Everyone did. You're Daniel's wife, he whispered. Yes. He took a step back, then another. Then he sank into the nearest chair like a man whose secrets had finally been dragged into the light. You shouldn't have come here, he muttered. You shouldn't have found that picture. Why? Maya asked quietly. Why hide Lisa from the truth? He rubbed his face with both hands, shaking. Because, he said slowly, voice cracking, telling her the truth would destroy everything. Lisa stepped closer. What truth, uncle? Tell me now. Please. The man lifted his head, eyes red. I was the one who stopped your mother from telling Daniel the truth, he whispered. I told her it was useless. I told her he would reject her. I was the one who told her not to go to him again. Lisa's breath caught. You stopped her. He nodded weakly. I told her she should raise you alone. I told her rich people don't care about poor girls like us. I told her she was better off without him. Lisa's voice broke. But she died, uncle. She died because she lost everything. I didn't know she would die, he yelled back, voice cracking. I thought she'd get another job. I thought she'd be strong. I didn't know she was sick. He buried his face in his hands. I thought I was protecting her. And instead, I destroyed her. Lisa collapsed onto a chair, sobbing. Maya felt her chest twist painfully. This wasn't just about Daniel. This was a whole web of fear, pride, and mistakes stretching across decades. She walked slowly toward Lisa and placed a gentle hand on her back. "It's okay. Let it out," Maya whispered. Lisa cried harder. Her uncle looked away, ashamed. After a long moment, he spoke again. "Lisa," he whispered, "I hid the truth because I didn't want you going after Daniel. I didn't want you hoping for a life that wasn't yours. I thought it would break you." Lisa looked up, tears streaming. "I didn't want his money. I just wanted to know the truth. I just wanted to know who I am." Her uncle lowered his head, and then he reached into his pocket. With trembling hands, he pulled out a small folded document. "I kept this for years," he said quietly. "Your mother left it with me. Told me to give it to you when you were old enough." Lisa stared at the paper. "What is it?" He handed it to her slowly. Lisa opened it with shaking hands. Maya stepped closer. Her eyes widened the moment she saw it. It wasn't a letter. It wasn't a picture. It was a birth certificate. Lisa's birth certificate. And under father's name, a single name was written in faded ink. Daniel Chen. Maya gasped. Lisa's mouth fell open. Her uncle dropped his face in his palms. "I didn't want you to see it. I didn't want your heart to break the way your mother's did." Lisa burst into sobs so heavy her entire body shook. Maya knelt beside her, holding her as tightly as she could. The uncle stood up slowly, wiping his eyes. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm sorry for everything." For several minutes, no one spoke. The only sounds were Lisa's quiet sobs and the distant noise of the neighborhood outside. Finally, Maya stood up, still holding the birth certificate. "Lisa," she said gently, "we need to show this to Daniel." Lisa looked up, eyes red and swollen. "What if he doesn't believe it? What if he says it's fake?" Maya shook her head. "He will believe it. Because he already knows the truth in his heart. He's just been too afraid to face it." Lisa wiped her eyes. "Ma'am, I don't want to ruin your marriage." Maya's eyes softened. "You didn't ruin anything, Lisa. This happened long before I even met Daniel. If anyone needs to answer for this, it's him." She took a deep breath. "But I believe he wants to make things right. And you deserve answers. You deserve the truth." Lisa nodded slowly, still crying. The uncle stood up. "I'll leave you two alone. I've done enough damage." He walked toward the door, then paused. "Lisa, I'm sorry. I really am." He left, closing the door quietly behind him. Maya looked at the birth certificate again, then at Lisa. "Are you ready to meet him?" Maya asked. "Really meet him? As his daughter?" Lisa's lips trembled. "I don't know. I've waited so long for this moment, but now that it's here, I'm terrified." Maya squeezed her hand. "I'll be with you. Every step of the way." But the chapter didn't end with comfort. It ended with the sound of a car approaching the building. A sleek black SUV. Quiet engine. Tinted windows. It stopped right outside. A familiar voice called out, "Maya, are you here?" Lisa froze. Maya inhaled sharply. Her uncle stopped at the gate, eyes wide. Daniel stepped into the courtyard. He looked from Maya to Lisa to the birth certificate in Maya's hands. His face drained of color. "Maya," he whispered, voice shaking. "What? What is that?" Maya stood slowly, her eyes locked on him. She held up the paper. "Daniel," she said in a trembling voice. "You need to see this." Daniel stepped forward slowly, like a man walking toward his own judgment. His eyes were fixed on the paper in Maya's hand. His face had gone pale. His usually steady hands trembled as he reached out. Maya handed him the birth certificate. He stared at it for what felt like an eternity. His lips moved silently as he read the words. His eyes scanned the names, the dates, the signatures. And then he saw it. Under father's name. Daniel Chen. His knees buckled. He fell to the ground, still holding the paper. "Oh God," he whispered. "Oh God, no." Maya watched him, her heart breaking in a way she'd never experienced before. This wasn't the confident man she married. This was someone shattered by the weight of his past. Lisa stood frozen near the doorway, tears streaming down her face. Daniel looked up at her. Really looked at her. And something in his eyes changed, recognition mixed with horror and grief. "You," he whispered. "You're Amanda's daughter." Lisa nodded, unable to speak. Daniel's voice cracked. How old are you?" 24, Lisa whispered. He closed his eyes, and tears began to fall. 24. The same age she would have been. The same age she is, Maya corrected gently. Daniel looked up at her, confused. Maya gestured toward Lisa. "Daniel, this is Elizabeth. Amanda's daughter. Your daughter." The words hung in the air like thunder. Daniel's eyes went wide. He stared at Lisa, really seeing her for the first time. The shape of her eyes. The curve of her smile. Features he'd never noticed before because he hadn't been looking. "Elizabeth," he breathed. You're my daughter?" Lisa nodded, sobbing. "I didn't want you to find out this way. I never wanted to hurt anyone." Daniel shook his head violently. "Hurt anyone? You didn't hurt anyone. I did. I did this." He stood up slowly, his legs shaking. "I abandoned your mother. I ran away like a coward. I destroyed her life over a stupid watch. And I never even knew you existed." His voice broke completely. "I'm so sorry. God, I'm so sorry." Lisa covered her face with her hands, crying harder. Maya stood between them, her own eyes wet with tears. "Daniel," she said softly. "Lisa came to work in our home not knowing who we were. When she realized, she kept quiet because she didn't want to destroy our marriage." Daniel looked at Lisa with such raw pain in his eyes. "You protected us," he whispered. "Even after everything I did to your mother. You protected us." Lisa shook her head. "I just wanted to survive, sir. I didn't know what else to do." "Don't call me sir," Daniel said, his voice firm but gentle. "Please. Don't ever call me that again." He took a step toward her. "I don't know if you can ever forgive me. I don't know if I even deserve to ask. But I need you to know something." He paused, swallowing hard. "I would have wanted to know you. If your mother had been able to reach me, if I hadn't been such a coward, I would have wanted to be your father." Lisa's eyes widened. "Really? Really?" Daniel said. "And I know I can't change the past. I know I can't bring your mother back. I know I can't give you the childhood you deserved." His voice shook. "But if you'll let me, I want to be part of your life now. I want to try to be the father I should have been from the beginning." Lisa stared at him, torn between years of pain and a desperate hope she'd never allowed herself to feel. Maya stepped forward, placing one hand on Daniel's shoulder and one on Lisa's. "This is going to be hard," she said quietly. "For all of us. But we can figure it out. Together." Daniel looked at his wife with such gratitude and love. "You're not leaving?" he asked, his voice small. Maya sighed. "I'm hurt. I'm angry. And I'm going to need time to process all of this. But I'm not leaving. Because this isn't about me. This is about Lisa. And she deserves a family." She looked at Lisa. "If you want one." Lisa's tears flowed freely now. "I've wanted a family my whole life." Daniel reached out tentatively, offering his hand. Lisa stared at it for a long moment. Then, slowly, she took it. Father and daughter stood there, hands clasped, both crying. And Maya, despite everything, felt something unexpected: hope. That evening, the three of them drove together to Manhattan. The woman who had contacted Daniel had asked to meet at a small cafe in the West Village. The car ride was quiet. Daniel sat in the driver's seat, his jaw tight. Maya sat beside him, watching the city pass by. Lisa sat in the back, nervously wringing her hands. "Who is this woman?" Maya finally asked. Daniel shook his head. "She didn't give me her name. She just said she was a friend of Amanda's. That she had information I needed to hear." Lisa leaned forward. "Do you think she knew my mother well?" "I don't know," Daniel admitted. "But we're about to find out." They parked near the cafe and walked in together. The small space was cozy, with warm lighting and soft music playing in the background. A woman sat alone at a corner table. She was older, maybe in her 60s, with kind eyes and silver hair pulled back in a bun. When she saw them enter, she stood up. "Daniel?" she asked. He nodded. "That's me. This is my wife, Maya, and this is..." He paused, swallowing hard. "This is Elizabeth." The woman's eyes filled with tears the moment she looked at Lisa. "Oh my," she whispered. "You look just like her. Just like Amanda." Lisa's breath caught. "You knew my mother?" The woman nodded, gesturing for them to sit. "I knew her well. My name is Grace. I was her supervisor at the office where she worked. Where she met your father." Daniel sat down heavily. "Grace. I remember you." Grace nodded. "I remember you too, Daniel. Young, ambitious, always in a hurry." Her voice held no judgment, only sadness. "I watched you and Amanda grow close. I knew she loved you." Daniel closed his eyes. "I didn't know. I was stupid and blind." "You were young," Grace said gently. "But that doesn't excuse what happened after." She turned to Lisa. "Your mother came to me the day she lost her job. She was devastated. She told me everything, about the pregnancy, about trying to reach Daniel, about the watch." Maya leaned forward. "Did you try to help her?" Grace nodded, tears in her eyes. "I did. I went to the company manager. I told him Amanda didn't steal anything. I begged him to check the cameras. But Daniel had already left the country, and the manager didn't want to admit they'd made a mistake." She wiped her eyes. "I gave Amanda money. I helped her find a new place to stay. But it wasn't enough. She was already so sick, and she wouldn't see a doctor. She said she needed to save every penny for the baby." Lisa's voice broke. "You were there when she died?" Grace nodded. "I was there. I held her hand. And she made me promise something." "What?" Daniel asked, his voice barely a whisper. Grace reached into her purse and pulled out a small envelope. "She made me promise that if I ever found you, I would give you this." She handed it to Daniel. With shaking hands, he opened it. Inside was a photograph and a folded letter. The photograph showed Amanda, young and smiling, holding a newborn baby. On the back, in shaky handwriting, were the words, "Daniel, meet your daughter. Elizabeth Amanda Chen. Born March 15th. She has your eyes." Daniel stared at the photo, and a sound escaped him, something between a sob and a gasp. Maya looked at the photo too, and her heart broke all over again. Daniel unfolded the letter with trembling fingers. His eyes scanned the words, and tears began to fall. "She forgave me," he whispered. "Even at the end, she forgave me." Grace nodded. "She loved you, Daniel. She never stopped. But she also wanted you to know about Elizabeth. She wanted her daughter to know her father." Daniel looked at Lisa, his face wet with tears. "I'm so sorry. For everything. For not being there. For not knowing. For failing you and your mother." Lisa stood up slowly and walked around the table. For a moment, she just stood there, looking at this man who was her father. Then, slowly, she reached out and hugged him. Daniel wrapped his arms around her and sobbed. Maya watched, tears streaming down her own face. Grace smiled sadly. Amanda would be happy. She always wanted this. After a long moment, Lisa pulled back. I forgive you, she whispered. Just like my mother did. But it's going to take time. Daniel nodded. I understand. I'll wait. However long it takes. Maya stood and joined them, putting her arm around Lisa. We'll figure this out, she said. As a family. 3 months later, things had changed in ways no one could have predicted. Lisa had moved out of her small apartment in Brooklyn. Not into the townhouse. That would have been too much, too fast. Instead, Daniel and Maya helped her find a comfortable apartment in a safer neighborhood, close enough to visit but far enough to give everyone space to adjust. Daniel had started therapy. He needed to face the guilt and pain he'd carried for so many years. Maya joined him for some sessions, working through her own feelings of betrayal and confusion. And slowly, carefully, they were building something new. One Saturday morning, Maya drove to Lisa's apartment. They'd started a tradition, weekend brunch, just the two of them, a chance to talk and build their own relationship. Lisa opened the door with a smile. Good morning, Maya. Good morning. Maya held up a bag. I brought bagels. They sat together in Lisa's small but cozy living room, eating and talking about everything and nothing. Work, books, movies, life. How are you doing? Maya asked. Really? Lisa thought for a moment. I'm okay. It's strange, you know? I spent so many years imagining what it would be like to meet my father. I thought I'd be angry. I thought I'd want revenge. And now I just feel tired, Lisa admitted. Tired of carrying all that pain. My mother forgave him. I think it's time I did too. Maya reached over and squeezed her hand. That's very brave. Lisa smiled. I learned from the strongest woman I know. My mother survived everything and still chose forgiveness. I want to honor that. There was a knock at the door. Lisa opened it to find Daniel standing there, holding a small wrapped gift and looking nervous. Hi, he said. I hope I'm not interrupting. Maya stood up. Actually, I should go. I have some work to catch up on. Lisa shot her a knowing look. Maya had planned this. After Maya left, Daniel and Lisa sat together awkwardly. I brought you something, Daniel said, handing her the gift. Lisa unwrapped it carefully. Inside was a beautiful leather-bound journal and a framed photograph, the picture Grace had given them, of Amanda holding baby Elizabeth. I thought you might want to have it, Daniel said softly. And the journal. I thought maybe you could write about your mother. About your memories. So they're never forgotten. Lisa's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. They sat in silence for a moment. Can I ask you something? Lisa said. Anything. Do you think about her? About my mother? Daniel nodded. Every day. I think about who she was. Who she could have become. I think about all the moments I missed with you because I was too much of a coward to face the truth. He looked at her. I can't change the past, Elizabeth. But I promise you, I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to be the father you deserved. Lisa wiped her eyes. I'd like that. But can we take it slow? As slow as you need, Daniel said. Over the next hour, they talked. Really talked. Daniel told her about his childhood, his dreams, his failures. Lisa told him about growing up, about her mother's strength, about the nights she'd cried herself to sleep wondering why her father didn't want her. It was painful. It was healing. It was real. When Daniel finally left, Lisa sat alone in her apartment, holding the photograph of her mother. We did it, Mama, she whispered. We found him. And he's trying. He's really trying. That evening, Maya and Daniel sat together in their townhouse. How did it go? Maya asked. Good, Daniel said. Really good. She's incredible, Maya. She's so much stronger than I ever was. Maya smiled. She is. But you're getting there too. Daniel took her hand. I don't deserve you. After everything I hid from you, after all the lies. They weren't exactly lies, Maya interrupted. You didn't know about Elizabeth. And once you did, you faced it. That's what matters. She squeezed his hand. This hasn't been easy. And I'm still processing everything. But I see you trying. I see you becoming the man you want to be. And I'm choosing to stay. For us. And for her. Daniel pulled her close. I love you. I love you too. Somewhere across the city, Lisa sat by her window, writing in her new journal. She wrote about her mother. About the pain. About the hope. And she wrote about new beginnings. Because sometimes, the truth doesn't destroy families. Sometimes, it rebuilds them. The end. Thank you for watching this powerful story of forgiveness, truth, and family. What did you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next compelling story. What story should we tell next? Let us know in the comments. See you in the next one.